Before the opening drive was even struck, critics had already written Charlie off. By the time the final 9 holes began, he was 5 strokes behind, staring down the most dominant junior golfer on the planet. His body wasn't right either. He was dealing with injuries that would have sent most competitors straight to the clubhouse. Analysts weren't just backing Miles Russell to win. They were openly dismissing the idea that Tiger Woods' son had any chance of mounting a comeback at all. Even Charlie's own caddy grew unusually quiet, the way people do when they think the outcome is already decided. What happened over the next 9 holes shattered logic, probability, and every assumption about performing under pressure. By the time they reached the 18th hole, Charlie delivered something genuinely staggering, a moment that reminded everyone the Woods name still carries a very real power. To understand why this mattered, you need the full context. This wasn't a casual junior event. It was a qualifier for the U.S. Junior Amateur Championship, a gateway to one of the most prestigious stages in the sport. College scouts lined the fairways, quietly recording notes that could determine scholarships worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and, in some cases, future paths to the PGA Tour. This was a test of talent, but more importantly, a test of mental strength. Miles Russell arrived as the overwhelming favorite. At just 14 years old, he had already made history as the youngest player ever to make the cut on the Korn Ferry Tour. That meant he was outplaying grown men with mortgages and decades of professional experience. He wasn't just participating. He was imposing his will. His swing was polished, his decisions mature, and to many watching, Miles wasn't simply the future of golf. He was actively redefining what a teenager could accomplish right now. On the other side stood Charlie Woods, carrying a surname that opens doors while placing an enormous weight on every swing. Every shot is measured against a father with 15 major championships. Every tournament becomes a referendum on whether greatness can be inherited. Physically, Charlie was compromised. A lingering wrist injury flared up during warm-ups, the kind of issue that can unravel a golfer completely. Grip weakens, mechanics slip, confidence erodes. His team even discussed withdrawing so he could heal. But there was something unmistakable in his eyes, a familiar defiance, the same one Tiger showed at Torrey Pines on a broken leg. The Woods family does not quit. It never has. The front 9 was painful to watch if you were rooting for Charlie. He wasn't playing badly. His ball striking was solid. But Miles was operating like a machine. Birdies on 2, 4, and 7, then a crushing eagle on the par 5, 6. The crowd buzzed with every shot. Charlie, meanwhile, was grinding out pars, just trying to stay afloat. At the turn, Miles held a commanding 5-shot lead. In this format, with 9 holes remaining, that deficit is massive. Statistically, you need near perfection from yourself and a collapse from your opponent just to force a tie. Even the broadcast began shifting its tone, praising Charlie's effort while essentially handing the moment to Miles. One analyst casually noted that while Charlie was very good, Miles was truly elite. That line exploded online and the story felt finished. Then they stepped onto the 10th tee and everything changed. Charlie's caddy later said it felt like a switch flipped. The injury was still there. The scoreboard hadn't moved, but Charlie's mindset transformed. He stopped trying to hang on and started taking control. On the par 4 10th, Charlie ignored the conservative option. He pulled driver and flew the ball straight over a dangerous bunker, shaping a perfect draw that left him a simple wedge. He poured in an 8-foot birdie putt, trimming the deficit. On the par 3 11th, despite the wrist pain, he aimed directly at a pin tucked behind water. Miles played safely to the middle of the green. Charlie stuck it inside 6 feet and buried the putt. Suddenly, it was down to 3. The air changed. This was no longer about surviving. Charlie was hunting. The par 5 12th became the turning point. Miles unleashed a massive drive, but his approach took a bad bounce and rolled off the green. Charlie, unable to match the raw distance because of his wrist, reached for a 3-wood on his second shot and absolutely flushed it, stopping 12 feet from hole. He rolled in the eagle putt. Miles missed his birdie. In a matter of minutes, the lead was down to 1. You could see it on Miles' face. He wasn't falling apart, but his tempo quickened, the clearest sign that pressure had arrived. Charlie had seized control of the psychological battle. They traded pars on 13, 14, and 15, each shot tightening the tension. At the par 3 16th, Miles once again chose safety, leaving himself a long 40-foot putt. Charlie refused to back down. He fired directly at the pin. When the putts dropped, the match was suddenly tied. A 5-shot lead had vanished in roughly an hour, and the golf world was reeling. Miles looked stunned, as if he'd been blindsided. Both players managed pars on the 17th, setting up a dramatic finish. The 18th was a 425-yard par 4, with water stretching along the entire left side. Miles played it professionally, finding the fairway and ensuring himself at least a chance at a playoff. Charlie wasn't interested in extra holes. He chose the most aggressive line imaginable, driving the ball straight over the water to cut the corner. It was a high-risk decision that left his caddy holding his breath. The shot worked perfectly, leaving the ball 4 feet from the cup. The gallery erupted. Miles missed his long birdie attempt. Charlie stepped up, calm and composed, and rolled the 4-footer dead center without hesitation. From 5 down to outright victory on the final hole, Charlie Woods had completed the comeback. In that moment, his last name wasn't a burden. It was a standard he met head-on. Miles Russell showed incredible class in defeat, but the day belonged to the kid who refused to accept the script everyone else had written. Charlie proved that champions don't just play within the game, they bend the outcome to their will. His father's lesson echoed clearly. Impossible is just an opinion, and pressure is a privilege. If this story changed the way you see greatness, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and subscribe for more moments that reveal what truly separates good players from legends.